Hello again, beautiful people. Welcome back. How do y'all like the new intro and the new YouTube banner? I went on a little Canva binge the other day and made a bunch of new stuff for my YouTube channel to make it look a little bit more put together, I guess. Fake it till you make it. So yeah. I realized I had not finished editing the month in review videos for April or May, so I decided to just kind of put it together into one big video. I will put timestamps because I do know that a 30-minute video is a little long for, most people to sit and watch in one go. So yeah, I'll put timestamps in there, that way you can jump around. Spoiler alert. April ended up being my favorite spread. And I feel like I say that for every new spread I make in my gratitude journal. But for real, April was it for me. I also hated the way May came out. You'll see what I mean. It's just a little too busy and not in a cute, put together way. But anywho, April. So April recap. It was a good month for movies, like in theaters. My husband and I went to go see the new Mario Brothers movie and the latest John Wick. I really like action movies, like hand-to-hand, violent, action-y movies. I don't like movies with war, which is interesting. But yeah, I really loved John Wick when it first came out, like the fight scenes, the choreography, and just like the effort that Keanu Reeves put in to becoming John Wick was just great. That was not, unfortunately, I don't feel like that carried through the movies. This last one, like, you can just tell Keanu Reeves is getting older, and he's aged like a fine wine, but I think John Wick is a little too, like, physically taxing of a character. And it definitely shows in this one. So John Wick 4, not my favorite. Super Mario, the Mario Brothers movie, I actually liked it a lot more than I thought I was going to. So I had my reservations because, like most people, I feel like I do not like Chris Pratt. At all. But I do love Seth Rogen and Jack Black. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna watch this movie. I went in with very low expectations and I actually really enjoyed it. I was like laughing and having a good time. I had a huge smile on my face. It was great. It was a good movie. And then I also saw The Whale, which is a very depressing movie. So I like horror movies, scary movies, thrillers, but I avoid anything sad. I will not watch, like for example, it took me years to watch Benjamin Button because I knew that was not going to end well. Yeah, so sad movies and movies about space, like I just are not my thing. So this was way out of character for me to watch, and I only watched it because as someone who grew up in the 90s, I had the hugest crush on Brendan Fraser. And I don't know if I'm saying his name right, because I think I heard somewhere that that's not how you pronounce his name. But anyway, Brendan Fraser, he was just like a heartthrob in The Mummy. It was just fantastic. I remember I watched The Mummy 4 times in theaters when I was a kid when it came out. I went a bunch of times at school, like end of year field trips and stuff. But then I also had my parents take me to see it because I loved it. And I remember I became obsessed with all things like mummies and ancient Egypt. Like that was going to be my life. Like that's what I wanted to do. But, didn't work out that way. Not quite. But yeah, Brendan Fraser, major hottie in the 90s. everyone in that movie was very attractive, actually. So yeah, I know he took like a long break from acting because he did have, I think he had an accident that kind of impacted him physically, and so he just, wasn't getting as many lead roles offers, I believe. So I feel like he kind of is in his comeback era. I mean, I know he did a couple like voice acting, and I know he did Doom Squad or Doom Patrol, that DC, I think it's DC. I don't know, that show on HBO. But anyway, so this movie, I know he got a lot of praise for it, so I went to see it, and I saw this one on by myself because my husband was out. He got sent to Alaska for a week in this month, so it was just me by myself. So I tried to keep myself entertained, and going to the movies was one of the things that I did. So I saw this one on my own, and it was, whew, he deserved all of the praise that he received for his role in this movie. It was very emotionally impactful. You could just sense that he just like the just the pain and the vulnerability that he showed. I feel like he channeled a lot of his own inner emotions for it, because it felt so real. So yeah, it was a great movie. Super depressing. Don't recommend if you don't like sad movies, but if you want to support Brendan Fraser, it's worth a shot. So yeah, those were the movies that I saw in theaters for the month of April. I also played a lot of games on my Switch, so I ended up buying Cult of the Lamb, which is this really cute, like I wouldn't really say it's like Animal Crossing, but it is almost like a farming simulator, but not quite. It's a little bit more of like an RPG as well, because there is some combat aspects to Cult of the Lambs, but it's like cutesy and very dark and like demonic. So if that's not your vibe, it's not the game for you, but it is really cute and really fun. So I played that one a whole lot in the month of April, and I also got really into the game Ooblets, which if you love Animal Crossing, you will love Ooblets. It is so adorable. You catch these little like creatures, and they're almost like Pokemon. You battle them, and the way they battle is they do dance battles, and everything is just like very bright colors, and it's really, really cute. So that was a fun one too. But yeah, so that was the big things. I also noticed, going back on my other month in review videos, I inadvertently included like my favorite book of that month, or my favorite series. I've talked about it before, but I've really, really fallen headfirst into the world of like book talk and spicy books and romance novels and all that good stuff. So I read, on average, about 12 to 20 books a month. I know, it's quite a bit. Thank goodness for Kindle Unlimited. But yeah, so because I read so much, and it is such a huge part of how I spend my time, I think it just kind of makes sense that I include them in my month in review pages. So yeah, this particular month, my favorite book was, Ruthless Creatures. This is my first book by this author, and I loved it. It's very spicy, very, very detailed. You have your typical, like, machismo, very masculine dude in this one. But yeah, I thought it was really good. I think there's an audiobook for it, but audiobooks, I tried this month too, and I can't do it. I need to actually be able to read it. And that was pretty much it. I didn't really do a whole lot else. Like I said, I just read. I made some art to keep myself occupied. Played a lot of the Switch. I also collected a bunch of these random Harry Potter Kinder eggs, which I think I just like got stuck into that, endorphin rush, I guess, of figuring out what each one was. I went on the hunt for these Kinder eggs and I ended up with so many. And the thing is, I used to love Harry Potter, but I'm not a huge fan anymore. So honestly, I don't know what I'm going to do with all these little Funko Pop Kinder Egg things. They're just like sitting in a container somewhere in my craft room. I don't know. Maybe I'll give them to my niece or something. Anywho, as far as decoration goes, I made those little ooblet stickers. So the little cactus person down by my selfie and that green little frog thing and like the little, I think it's a beet, or it looks like a beet or radish. Those are all ooblets. I went through online and I just found little like clip arts of them, and then I just printed a whole bunch on sticker paper and I made a lot of little ooblet stickers. So that's something I've enjoyed doing for these. Also, I really liked putting labels to separate the different aspects of the month. So that's something I'm definitely going to do moving forward. And I used for this spread my sticky graph paper, like where it says movies, the orange one, and Kinder Eggs, it's the pink background. Those are all printables from Courtney Diaz's Little Raven ink. She does like release every month like a couple background pages, but sometimes she'll also do like these types of things or like space fillers, and I found that they're the perfect size to stamp out my title pages or like my titles and stuff. But yeah, so that was April. All right, well, I'm gonna let this, I think I'm pretty much at the end here. I didn't talk about that ice cream cone. There was a random food truck festival, and the only thing that I liked and wanted was that black ice cream. It literally was just vanilla ice cream, but it was black, and I thought it was really cool. But yeah, so here's the overall spread. Like I said, it is my favorite. It's busy, but not overwhelming, and it's just like easy on the eye to look at. Unfortunately, that is not the case for May. My first mistake was trying to use these stamps. So I stopped by Hema, which is almost, I keep comparing things to Dollar General, but I think this is a little bit more than a Dollar General. But they tend to have a lot of really cute stationery and just a lot of cute little like crafty things. And I found these stamps where it's like a create your own flower stamps, and you just like layer all these things. In all honesty, I had never really attempted to use a stamp set like this before, so I did not do a great job. There was a lot of overlapping that shouldn't have happened, and I'm not sure if it's because like the stamps were new or what, because my ink pads are not dry, because I did go back and check them, but I was just not getting a lot of color. It wasn't very vibrant, and I honestly don't know why I just didn't scrap this idea or like try again, but I was terca that I was going to make it work, and it ended up being a hot mess in my opinion. But yeah, I'm stamping it on some leftover sticker paper from something that I printed, and my printer just like stopped printing halfway. So I have like all these, I collect all the little bits of my sticker paper that I don't use, and yeah, was me trying to use up those sticker sheet scraps and also these new stamps that I did not like. So yes, this was my first big mistake. As far as May goes, in terms of what I did, it wasn't super busy, at least not in comparison to the other months. I felt like I was really missing photos. Like there just really wasn't a lot for some reason. My husband and I, we did have one big trip that we planned, and then we went to Garmisch, which I know you'll see it later. If you know Garmisch, you'll notice I misspelled it. I went back and I fixed it. But anyway, Garmisch is this town, like the city here. It's beautiful. You see the Bavarian Alps, I believe. I'm super bad with geography, but you definitely see beautiful mountains and stuff. And it's very much an outdoorsy city. Like you are meant to go and look at nature and hiking and just doing things outside. Which, if you know me personally, that is not my thing. I was not made for outside. I have pretty severe allergies when it comes to everything outdoors. Like, I can't even touch grass without breaking out in hives. It is not pleasant. But I made the choice to go anyway because my husband is a very outdoorsy person, and I feel like he doesn't get to do a lot of that anymore because I don't do that. So I made sure I was stocked up on all my medication and mentally prepared for the physically exhausting weekend that was Garmisch. It really was very, very tiring, but I think honestly it was worth it. First thing we did when we got there was we went to, I'm not even going to attempt to say it. I'll write it down somewhere, but it's the castle that supposedly inspired Sleeping Beauty's castle or the Disney logo castle, one or the other. It's up on a hill, and we decided not to walk all the way up because I think it would have been like a 45-minute walk on an incline, which I didn't want to wear myself out like from the get-go because I knew this was day one and we had way more walking and hiking and stuff planned for the rest of the week, and I did not want to like tire myself out. So we took a horse-drawn carriage ride up. We were going to take a bus originally, but the bus was going to take, I think, like an hour to go up, or like an hour and a half or something, whereas the horse-drawn carriage was only going to be like 15 minutes. So we decided to do that instead, but it doesn't take you all the way up. Like there was still a little bit more to climb, and it was already kind of warm. We had already been driving for like, I think 6 hours at this point. So by the time we get to the top, I'm just like, I'm tired, it's hot, I'm sweaty. So I decided to stop and get ice cream from this little like stand or whatever that was there. And it was so refreshing. And honestly, I think that's where my obsession with ice cream started, because since then, I now want ice cream anytime it's hot. We don't have raspas here in Germany, unfortunately. Raspas are way better than snow cones. Don't come for me, but they totally are. They are the best refreshing treat, and unfortunately they don't have them here. So ice cream it is. But yeah, so I ate a lot of ice cream that month and the months since then. But anyway, real quick. See, this is where I messed up with those flowers, man. Like, I should have just left them at the bottom border, but I didn't. So you're going to see, I cut them off, and then I decide, instead of wasting the scraps, which I should have because they're not even that great to begin with, I decided to like also layer it or border the top of my page, and I think it filled up too much of the space, in my opinion, where I feel like a lot of the other stuff that I did just got lost. It was just like poor coloring choices on my part. Just a lot of mistakes were made with this page. But, it is what it is. You're not going to love every single spread you make. That's just part of the things with journaling. You learn things that work, things that don't work. And for me, I learned that those types of creating your own flower stamps don't work for me. Anyway, back to Garmisch. So yeah, we did that castle, and then we walked. Also, if you hear my fan or my chair squeaking, I fidget a lot when I do voiceovers. So yeah, you're hearing me like fidget and stuff, and it is kind of warm. So you're hearing my little desk fan, if you can hear it. Anywho, yeah, so we also saw the Olympic ski jump from the Olympics that was held in Germany back in the 30s, I think. We went on a gondola. I think it was like, well, first we did like a gorge. It was like an hour-long hike through this gorge. Beautiful. So many amazing photos, and that's where that picture of me, from behind my backpack, I'm in the gorge and stuff. It's like a candid photo. I asked my husband to take photos of me from behind whenever we go out on vacation like this, because I like having those types of candid photos in my journal. Anyway, so yeah, we did that, and then we did the gorge, and then we did the gondola ride, and it was like it was a really long gondola ride. I am terrified of heights, so I was freaking out a little bit. When I agreed to do it, I didn't anticipate it to go that high, but it went pretty darn high. And then of course at the top, I took a couple stereotypical Hills Are Alive photos and stuff, because I just had to. Anyway, but that was just some of the things that we did at Garmisch. It was like a 3 or 4 day long event. By the end of it, I was exhausted. The other big thing, my husband and I started watching season 3 of Demon Slayer. There was already a couple episodes in, and that's typically how we like to do it with newer animes. We don't watch the first few episodes. We like to let them build up, so that way we can binge watch them. So that's what we did with Demon Slayer. But honestly, we were very disappointed with this season. I feel like it wasn't as impactful when, I think one of my favorite aspects of Demon Slayer is the fact that, of course, they're fighting these demons, and these are just these terrible creatures that do terrible things, and they kill innocent people, and they have no remorse, and they're just very aggressive, and, like with most things, you instinctually do not like the villain, and you think, okay, you're going to fight them, you're going to get rid of them, it's warranted, they do bad things. But this show does such a good job of humanizing these demons, and it gives them a backstory, and it makes you realize that because all the demons were humans originally, but it makes you realize that the worst of humanity is the real demons. It's just the way that we treat one another that lead to these terrible things and lead to these people becoming demons and these poor circumstances. And it literally makes you empathize for these people that turn into demons, which is crazy because, you spend the whole season hating them, and then at the end you're like, oh wow, that they had a terrible life, so it makes sense why they became the way they did. Humanity made them that way. And I think that's beautiful. However, this season lacked that. I think the demon stories, spoiler alert, I guess, were just not as impactful. You didn't really empathize with a lot of people. Fight scenes weren't as great, in my opinion. It was still good to see. I love the show, I support it, but not my favorite season. But yeah, so we watched Demon Slayer this month. I came across this post on Instagram of this woman who did themed dinners based on movies. And so she had them for the Harry Potter series. And my husband and I, we had already seen the first one because we were playing the Harry Potter game for the PS5. And so we were like, let's rewatch the movies. So we were on the second one, I think it was. The second one. Because I hate the third one. We were on the second one, and I saw that she had done one of those themed dinners. So I went and I got all the stuff. Like, I made like little mandrake brownies. I made the Howler letters, but they were just like ham and cheese sandwiches. What else did I make? Oh, we had Cool Ranch Doritos because of like the Pixies or whatever. It was just like a lot. It was really detailed and it was a lot of fun to put together. Unfortunately, the food didn't turn out the greatest. Not my fault. It was just the recipes, I guess, were a little bland. And then I got the brownie mix at the commissary, which is the grocery store on base that's meant for service members and their dependents. And I got the brownie mix from there because I have no idea how to I haven't tried to figure out like German cake mixes. So I figured it'd be safe just to go with what I know. But the brownie mix was like really old, I guess. It just did not taste good, which is super unfortunate because it smelled amazing, but it did not taste great. But yeah, so that was fun to put together. The other things, the weather was starting to get nice. I mean, it was really warm, and then it kind of cooled down, and it got like that perfect in between. So my husband and I had dinner for the first time out on our balcony. I mean, we've had drinks on the balcony before, but we've never had like full-on dinner, and that's what we did this month. We ordered pizza and pasta from like this Italian place in our neighborhood, and we sat out on the balcony. We had wine and we just kind of like enjoyed each other's company until it got a little too dark to be out there. But yeah, so it was fun. I think that was like the start of summer for me. As far as, let's see what else. As far as theaters, I only saw one movie, and I saw the Guardians of the Galaxy one, which once again, I'm not a huge fan of Chris Pratt. But oh my god, that movie, so good. Also like a little dark for kids in my opinion. There were some pretty deep themes there that I feel like parents should have been warned before taking their kids. But yeah, it was a great movie, very well done. And, you know, I think that was the last Guardians of the Galaxy movie. I think. I don't know. I could totally be wrong. Anywho, that was May. Didn't really do anything else aside from that. And here I am trying to fiddle with more stickers to fill in the gaps because I'm trying to make this spread better than what it is. And unfortunately, it just was not that great. Anywho, thank you guys so much for watching. Sorry this was like months late. I will try and be better, but you know, all I can do is try. I'm hoping that with this new intro and all this new graphics and stuff for my channel, it'll reinvigorate me to devote more time to YouTube. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go. My voice is a little starting to go. But yeah, I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. Like I said, thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a good one. And yeah, I guess just be on the lookout for new content. And if there's anything you guys want to see, please let me know because I am always looking for something new. I feel like I get in the same old routine with the types of videos I come out with. So if there's anything you want to see specifically, like I said, let me know and I will try and make that happen. All right, now I am gonna go. Okay, bye.